What if the only thing keeping you alive is also the thing that's destroying you? A man trained to kill, a past he can't escape, and one explosion that changes everything. This is the story of John Creasy, a man who doesn't just fight enemies, he fights himself. But what happens next is far darker than anyone expected. Today, we're breaking down the full story of Man on Fire, a brutal, emotional, slow-burning revenge thriller. At the center is Yahya Abdul-Mateen II as John Creasy, a former Special Forces operative, broken by trauma and haunted by a mission gone wrong. And trust me, this is not just another action story. We begin in Mexico City, a high-stakes CIA operation. Creasy leads a team into what should be a controlled mission, but within seconds, everything collapses. Men dressed in black storm the building. One by one, his teammates are executed. No mercy, no hesitation. Creasy tries to fight back, but he's too late. He becomes the only survivor, and that moment never leaves him. Now we jump forward. Creasy isn't a soldier anymore. He's a ghost, living alone, working a dead-end job, drinking to forget. Every night, the same nightmare. Every morning, the same emptiness. He can't sleep without covering his head, reliving the moment his team died. And slowly, he begins to believe something terrifying, that he shouldn't have survived. One day, he decides he's done. He gets into his car and drives straight into a wall at full speed. But even death rejects him. He survives. And when he wakes up in the hospital, someone is waiting. His old friend, Paul Rayburn, a man from his past, a man who still believes in him. Rayburn offers him something unexpected, a second chance, a job, a new life in Rio de Janeiro. Creasy refuses at first, but then he realizes something. He has nothing left to lose, so he says yes. In Brazil, things feel different. For the first time in years, Creasy is surrounded by life again. He meets Rayburn's family, and then he meets Poe, Rayburn's teenage daughter, smart, rebellious, and far stronger than she looks. At first, Creasy keeps his distance, but something about her starts breaking through his walls. Rayburn reveals the real reason he brought him here. Brazil is on edge. An election is coming, and there are rumors of a terrorist attack. The government hires Rayburn's team to stop it. Creasy is brought in to help, but when he meets Security Chief Soares, things don't go well. Creasy fails a simple test. He's rusty, unstable, not the man he used to be, but Rayburn forces their hand. Creasy gets the job anyway. That night, Poe sneaks out to a party. Creasy spirals into alcohol and violence. Meanwhile, white vans move through the city, bombs being transported. A mysterious motorcyclist leads them. No one knows who he is, yet. Poe rushes home before sunrise. She sees the vans, the motorcyclist. Something feels wrong. Her phone rings. It's her father. He's standing outside their building. They see each other. And then, boom, the entire condo explodes. Fire, destruction, screams. Rayburn, his family, gone. Poe survives. And in that moment, John Creasy is reborn. But not as a protector, as something far more dangerous.
The city mourns. The government blames a group called the FRP, a terrorist organization. But something doesn't feel right, and Creasy knows it. He takes control. He demands one thing, Poe's safety. He promises to get her out of Brazil. But deep down, he's already made a different decision. He's not leaving, not until everyone responsible is dead. At first, Poe doesn't trust him. Why would she? He's cold, silent, dangerous. But slowly, something changes. Creasy trains her, protects her, and for the first time in years, he cares about someone again. But what happens next changes everything. Creasy begins investigating the attack, and the deeper he goes, the darker it gets. Corruption, lies, hidden agendas. The FRP might not be the real enemy. He meets Faraz, a man connected to the bombing. Faraz reveals something shocking. This wasn't just terrorism. It was planned. Names start to surface. President Carmo, Security Chief Soares. People who were supposed to protect the country might be behind the attack. But why? Power, control, the election. Suddenly, Creasy becomes a target. The same system he trusted, is now hunting him and Poe. They go into hiding, forming unlikely alliances. People from the streets, from the favelas, criminals who turn out to have more honor than politicians. But just when Creasy thinks he understands the game, Faraz reveals one more name, a name that changes everything: Tappan. And what Creasy doesn't know yet is that Tappan has already planned for everything.
Faraz confesses the truth. Carmo and Soares didn't just allow the bombing, they orchestrated it. But they weren't alone. Tappan, the real mastermind, the man on the motorcycle, the one pulling strings from the shadows. Creasy now has one mission: destroy all of them. But there's a problem. Tappan is protected, not by guards, but by something smarter: a dead man's switch. If Tappan dies, evidence is released, exposing everything. So Creasy does something insane. He decides to kill him anyway. He builds a trap, a fake robbery, a poisoned tape, a lie designed to pull everyone into one place. Tappan takes the bait, so does Soares. They play the tape, and suddenly, they realize they've been poisoned. Panic, chaos. They rush to the hospital, exactly where Creasy wants them, because now, the hunt is over, and the execution is about to begin. By the final episode, John Creasy, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, understands one crucial thing: he can't beat the system directly. President Carmo, Soares, and Tappan are protected by power, influence, and layers of secrecy. So instead of attacking them head-on, Creasy forces them to expose themselves. His plan has three key parts. The fake robbery creates urgency. The tape, poison trap, triggers panic. The hospital setup isolates his targets. The brilliance here is psychological, not just physical. Creasy doesn't just fight them. He makes them react emotionally, and that's what leads them into his trap. Tappan isn't just another villain. He is the central link between the government, Carmo, security forces, Soares, the bombing itself. When Creasy kills Tappan, two things happen. The dead man's switch is triggered. This means recorded conversations, evidence of the bombing, proof of corruption. All of it gets released automatically. That's why later in the news, Carmo is arrested. The truth comes out. The FRP is exposed as a scapegoat. So even though Creasy acts violently, his actions ultimately bring justice legally and publicly. The final fight between Creasy and Soares isn't just physical, it's symbolic. Soares represents authority, corruption hidden by law, the official version of justice. Creasy represents raw truth, moral ambiguity, personal justice. When Soares takes Poe hostage, it becomes personal again. But here's the key moment. Creasy doesn't save Poe alone. Poe saves herself. He signals her. She uses what he taught her. She fights back. This shows Creasy didn't just protect her. He changed her. And that changes him too. When Soares shoots Creasy in the chest, it feels like the final cost. This moment tells us, violence always comes with a price. Even when you win, you don't walk away clean. But Creasy still survives, and that's crucial, because earlier in the series, he wanted to die. He tried to kill himself. Now, he fights to live. At the end, Creasy is alive, cleared of all charges, no longer hunted. But here's the truth. He's not fixed. He's not healed. He's just different. The phone call from the CIA, a new mission, back to Mexico City, the place where his trauma began. Before, he didn't care if he lived. Now, he has something to hold on to. Poe changed him. He's choosing to go back, not because he's lost, but because he has purpose again. The show leaves us with a question. Is Creasy a hero, or just a weapon pointed in a different direction? There's no clear answer, and that's the point. The ending of Man on Fire is not about revenge. It's about trauma that never fully goes away, finding purpose inside pain, and the thin line between justice and destruction.
Creasy didn't escape the fire. He learned how to live inside it.